Let's talk honestly for a moment. Sometimes you assume she is not interested. She is not texting first. She is not being overly expressive. She is not making dramatic moves. So your mind fills in the gaps with doubt. You tell yourself she does not care. You convince yourself you are just an option. And slowly, your confidence starts shrinking. But here is what most men misunderstand about attraction. Interest is not always loud. Feelings are not always obvious. And a woman who is deeply thinking about you does not always behave the way movies or social media tell you she should. The real sign is subtle. It is consistency in attention. If she remembers small details about you that you barely remember sharing, she is thinking about you. If she brings up something you mentioned days or weeks ago, she is replaying conversations in her mind. If she responds thoughtfully instead of casually, she is emotionally investing. If she watches your stories quickly, notices changes, or reacts to your progress, she is aware of you more than you realize. Women process attraction internally first. Before she shows you how she feels it deeply within herself. She analyzes, she observes, she evaluates, she replays interactions, she imagines possibilities. And here is the powerful truth. When a woman is indifferent, she is careless. When she is emotionally involved, she is attentive. Attention is the currency of attraction, not loud flirting, not constant texting, not dramatic confessions. Attention. If she asks follow-up questions about your life, that means she wants to stay connected to your world. If she teases you in a playful way, that means she is comfortable thinking about you beyond surface level. If she takes a little longer to respond but sends thoughtful messages, that means she is choosing her words carefully. Indifference is short and shallow. Interest is detailed and intentional. But here is where most men sabotage themselves. They panic, they overtext, they overpursue, they demand reassurance, they try to force clarity too soon, and that pressure makes her retreat. Understand this clearly. When she is thinking about you, she needs space to feel it. Attraction grows in space, not in pressure. If you notice she engages with your life in small but consistent ways, do not chase harder. Instead, become calmer, become grounded, become focused on your purpose. Confidence is magnetic when it is quiet. When you do not react emotionally to every small delay, you communicate strength. When you continue building your goals instead of obsessing over her responses, you communicate value. And value increases attraction. Here's the deeper psychological insight. Women are drawn to men who create emotional impact without demanding emotional validation. If she is thinking about you, she is imagining how you make her feel, your humor, your energy, your ambition, your calmness, your presence. So the question is not whether she is thinking about you. The question is what she feels when she does. If your presence is positive, grounded, and inspiring, she will replay you in her mind. If your energy is anxious, reactive, and uncertain, she will feel that too. You cannot control her thoughts, but you can control the experience you create. Instead of asking, "Does she like me?" start asking, "Am I becoming the kind of man who leaves a strong emotional impression?" Because when you are emotionally steady, purpose-driven, and self-assured, women do not just notice you. They think about you. And when she is thinking about you consistently, attraction is already growing beneath the surface. Do not confuse silence with disinterest. Do not confuse calm with indifference. And do not let insecurity push you to ruin something that is quietly developing. Stay composed, stay focused, stay valuable. If she notices you, remembers you, engages with you in small, consistent ways, and reacts to your growth, she is not ignoring you. She is observing you. And when a woman is observing you with attention, she is already emotionally invested more than you think. The strongest connections are not always loud. They are built in quiet moments, subtle signals, and unspoken curiosity. Learn to see those signals, and more importantly, become worthy of them. Attraction is rarely as loud as people expect it to be. It does not always arrive in dramatic confessions, constant messages, or obvious flirting. More often, it shows itself through subtle and consistent attention. This attention may appear small on the surface, but psychologically, it carries deep meaning. When a woman consistently notices you, remembers details about you, or engages with your life in thoughtful ways, it signals that her mind is returning to you repeatedly. Repetition of thought is one of the strongest indicators of growing interest. Consistency is powerful because it reflects intention. Anyone can show excitement once. Real interest shows up again and again in small ways. It may be the way she responds with care instead of indifference. It may be how she brings up something you mentioned days ago. It may be how she observes your growth and reacts to it. These behaviors require mental presence. And mental presence means you matter in her internal world. Recognizing these quiet signals requires patience and emotional awareness. Many people miss them because they are searching for obvious validation. They want loud proof instead of subtle consistency. But mature attraction often develops quietly. It builds through attention, not performance. When you train yourself to notice consistent effort rather than dramatic gestures, you begin to understand connection on a deeper level. This awareness prevents insecurity from taking control. Instead of assuming disinterest when things are calm, you learn to read stability as a positive sign. Subtle attention is not accidental. It is intentional focus, and when someone consistently gives you their attention, even in small ways, it reveals that you occupy space in their thoughts more often than you may realize. Women often experience attraction as an internal process before it ever becomes external behavior. While some people express interest quickly and openly, many women first analyze their feelings privately. They observe, they reflect, they replay conversations, they evaluate how they felt in your presence. This internal processing is not confusion or disinterest. It is emotional awareness at work. Because feelings are filtered through thought and reflection, outward signals may appear subtle at first. She may not immediately verbalize her interest. Instead, she may show it through thoughtful engagement, careful responses, or quiet observation. Understanding this requires emotional intelligence. If you only look for obvious signs, you may overlook the depth of what is happening beneath the surface. Emotional intelligence means paying attention to patterns rather than isolated moments. It means noticing if she continues to engage, if she asks meaningful questions, or if she shows awareness of your life. These are indicators that she is processing her feelings seriously rather than casually. Internal processing often leads to stronger, more intentional attraction because it is not impulsive. It is considered. Patience becomes essential in this stage. When you rush for clarity or demand immediate expression, you disrupt the natural development of connection. But when you remain steady and confident, you allow her space to understand her emotions fully. This creates a healthier dynamic built on mutual understanding rather than pressure. Recognizing that attraction can grow internally, first, helps you respond with maturity. Instead of reacting emotionally to what is not yet visible, you trust the process. And when feelings finally surface outwardly, they tend to be deeper, more genuine, and more lasting because they were thoughtfully formed. Confidence has a stabilizing effect on attraction. When you are secure within yourself, you do not feel the need to constantly seek reassurance or chase validation. This calm self-assurance communicates value without words. It signals that you have direction, purpose, and emotional control. Women are naturally drawn to stability because it feels safe and predictable in a positive way. When your actions are measured and your emotions are balanced, you create an atmosphere where connection can grow comfortably. On the other hand, insecurity often shows up in subtle but powerful ways. Over-texting, over-explaining, demanding constant clarity, or reacting strongly to small delays can unintentionally create pressure. Pressure disrupts attraction because it shifts the focus from shared connection to emotional need. Instead of allowing interest to develop naturally, insecurity tries to force certainty. And when something feels forced, it loses its ease. Self-focus is not selfishness. It is discipline. When you continue building your goals, improving your mindset, and investing in your growth, you demonstrate independence. Independence increases attraction because it shows that your life has meaning beyond one person's attention. You are inviting someone into your world, not depending on them to create it. The key is balance. Show interest, but do not abandon your self-control. Communicate, but do not overwhelm. Care, but do not cling. When you maintain your standards and remain emotionally steady, you project strength. And strength, expressed calmly, creates magnetic energy. Attraction thrives in environments where confidence replaces anxiety and purpose replaces obsession. In the end, understanding attraction requires maturity, patience, and emotional awareness. Subtle attention, internal processing of feelings, and the power of steady confidence all reveal that connection is rarely loud or immediate. It develops quietly through consistency, thoughtful engagement, and emotional balance. When you recognize these deeper patterns, you stop reacting to surface-level signs and start responding with clarity and strength. True attraction grows when you remain grounded, focused on your purpose, and emotionally disciplined. Instead of chasing reassurance, you create value through your presence. Instead of forcing outcomes, you allow space for feelings to form naturally. This mindset not only protects your confidence, but also strengthens the connection itself. When you combine awareness with self-control, you become someone who inspires genuine interest rather than demanding it.